You are welcome. This is the Messiah Revelation Ministry, prophetic end time ministry. We look at end time events, and today we are looking at Africa. We are looking at the Bible. We are looking at Africa's contribution, um, Africans' presence in the Bible. We are also looking at the question related to the Jews and the Bible and Bible history. The first question we ask is about the origin of the Jews. Where did the Jews originate from? They are the descendants of Abraham, so they claim, so they say, and if so, then they originated from the Uwar of Chaldees. After all, Abraham originated from the Uwar of Chaldees in the ancient Mesopotamian region. So did the Jews originate from Mesopotamia? You are of Chaldees. And when we talk about the Jews, mostly we refer to those who founded the state of Israel in 1948 and claiming to be Jews. And we are also talking even about the European Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews. Did they originate from Uwar of Chaldees, from ancient Mesopotamia? They will say yes, and evangelicals supporting them will also say yes. But there are counter research, counter revelations. And one of them is a Ghanaian scholar, Nana Dakwa, Nana Banche Dakwa. He wrote a book, The Africans Who Wrote the Bible, and he provides an answer. Did the Jews originate from Uwal of Chaldees, ancient Mesopotamia? Dr. Dakwa says no, the Jews did not originate from the Uwar of Chaldees because the people who lived in ancient Mesopotamia were not Europeans. And so the Jews could not have originated from the Uwar of Chaldees. The Ashkenazi Jews could not have originated from the Uwar of Chaldees. And we are going over other questions. And one of the major questions is who wrote the Bible. The Jews who say that the Bible was written by ancient prophets who were Jews. And the Jews, through their prophets, have made a contribution to civilization. They've made contribution to Christianity. So the question we are asking is who wrote the Bible? There are counter arguments, and we rely on historians, we write on Bible scholars, and still our site, Dr. Nana Banche Dakwa, who has written a book based upon extensive research. And I believe the research was part of his PhD dissertation. Who wrote the Bible? He wrote a book, a research book, The Africans Who Wrote the Bible. And according to Nana Banche Dakwa, the Ghanaian scholar, the people who wrote the Bible were black people and they were Africans. And he is supported to some extent by some other scholars. One of them is Professor Tuesday Adamo, David Adamo from Nigeria. He's a professor of Old Testament history. And he wrote the book, Africa and Africans in the Bible. And in addition to them, there are other scholars who talk about the prophet Zephaniah being an African, being a black prophet. If you read Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 1, the prophet describes his genealogy. This is Zephaniah, the son of Cushi. And the word Cushi and Cush, they refer to Africa, they refer to Ethiopia, and that is the conclusion made by many scholars, including black and white scholars, including African and European scholars. And so the prophet Zephaniah says he is the son of Cushi, meaning he is an African, he is a black man, and he gives a lot of hope to black people when he wrote that in the last days, the worshippers of God, they will come from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is in Africa. And so who wrote the book? The Bible. Jews are saying, and the Bible was written by Jewish prophets from Moses to Zephaniah. And the African scholars and the black scholars, and they are saying that Zephaniah was a black person, and the identity of Moses is controversial. Was he an European? Was he a white person? Where was he born? What is his genealogy? And we are not going into that because we have done a lot of work on this channel regarding the Hebrews, the black Hebrews, the Hebrew Israelites, and we also have cited archaeological records indicating that the city of Masada belonging to the tribe of Judah, and when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans, the European Romans, the city was defended by black Negroes, according to the Masada discoveries. And another scholar, an African American, his name is John Johnson, Professor John Johnson. He wrote a book, Black Biblical Heritage. And in the book, he states that Jerusalem was founded by the Jebusites, and the Jebusites were black people. And so it also brings into question the black presence in the Bible. A lot of black people, black scholars, particularly African Americans, they have done extensive research regarding the presence of black people in the Bible, because before that, a lot of scholars, I'm talking mostly about European scholars, they said that there were no black people mentioned in the Bible at all. And that argument was countered by research, and it has been shown that, of course, there were black presence in the Bible. And in the New Testament, the person who carried the cross of the Messiah was Simon from Cyrene in ancient Libya. That was predominantly a black region. And we go back to the question who wrote the Bible, and Dr. Nana Banche Dakwa, in his book, The Africans Who Wrote the Bible, he has researched that documents forming the Bible were translated and copied for the Greeks in Alexandria, which is in Egypt, ancient Egypt. And he asked a question, which people lived in Egypt at the time when the Bible was translated in Alexandria and Egypt? And the answer is that Egypt was occupied, or was a place inhabited by black people. But unfortunately, Western scholarship about black people has always been based upon negative anthropological sentiment. I would say negative anthropological sentiments, and probably it is a nice way of saying that the Western scholarship about Africa and the Bible has been based upon questionable racial assumptions. And Nana Banchi Dakwa also says that there was a period of time when there was active monitoring of Western scholarships. And so the Western scholars were monitoring their colleagues. And if they found out that you are writing things about the Bible or Africa that is favorable to black people, favorable to Africans, you'll be monitored and your work will be censored. And in his book, The Black Biblical Heritage, Dr. John Johnson, an African American, also has stated that a lot of books and a lot of records, they were banned or they were destroyed or they were hidden because these were research that concluded that Christianity originated in Africa 300 years before it reached Europe. It means that Christianity originated in Africa. And there was an active practice of suppressing that truth. And the practice of suppressing the truth about the Bible included destroying books and also not publishing books that actually talk about the truth. And so the truth was hidden, intentionally hidden by European historians and European and pastors and European and churches. And the link between ancient Egypt and Black Africa is what most European scholars will not accept. They will accept everything, but they will not accept the link between ancient Egypt and Black Africa. And so we also have to talk about Egypt, Egypt in Africa. Why is Egypt so important? Why is it that Western scholars want to exclude black people from Egypt? Egypt is important because Egypt is the originator of a major civilization. Well, you can say the major civilization that benefited Europe more than any other people because the European scholars, including Socrates and Aristotle, they benefited from the civilization that occurred in Egypt. And Egypt is also very important because Egypt is linked with the Bible. It is the place where the children of God, they fled to Egypt to have a haven in Egypt. And our Messiah, Yeshua, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, by prophecy, his earthly parents, took him to Egypt as a safe haven. And so Egypt is very important spiritually. Egypt is very important historically. And that is why there has been a contention. And they are denying the fact that the pharaohs of Egypt were black people. After all, the Egyptians, the Arabs who came later to occupy Egypt, when did they come to Egypt? They came around 638 AD. AD means after Christ. And they claim that the original people in Egypt were white people. That is a lie. The original people in Egypt were Arabs. That is a lie because historical records have shown that the originators of the civilization that occurred in Egypt, they were black people. And these black people, these Africans, they carried the royal dynasties that originated in ancient Egypt. And so when you are talking about civilization like the ancient Ghana civilization, and you trace the origin to Egypt because the Ashantis of Ghana, they originated from Egypt. And even the Igbos of Nigeria, who are Hebrews, and their ancestry show that they came from around the Mesopotamian region. Among the greatest of the in Europe is the Dr. Banchi is making a point. He's saying that among the greatest of the hidden truths in Europe is the African origin of the authors of the Bible and the concept of Christianity. The concept of Christianity cannot be discussed without looking at the contribution of Africa and Africans in Christianity. And the European scholars, they have distorted that fact, and they have tried for centuries to erase black presence in the Bible, and also to erase from the record African contribution in the Bible. And the last issue is the issue of racism and nationalism in biblical scholarship that has contributed to the erasure of Africa and Africans in the Bible.